All right, recording announcement. Oh, married. Okay, yay, we've got some folks. Okay. So, spotlighting myself. Today is one of those take it really slow, kind of hang out wherever we are sort of routines. And I kind of feel like with all of the change going on right now, and I mean, change is a constant, especially like at our age. So it's so easy to be like, no, I'm just gonna get through the thing and then I'm gonna feel the feelings about the thing later. And I feel like when you practice sitting with like intensity or sensation or like discomfort in your body, your mind is like, oh yeah, I should probably do this with my emotions as well. So we'll be holding things for like 45 seconds to a minute, and just really finding the strength in ourselves to stay in that pose, to stay in that moment, both physically, even if we're like making little adjustments with our body, that's totally okay, especially as you ease in and maybe realize like, oh, I could straighten my chest a little more. But and also staying with our mind. So trying to focus on the sensation and maybe even creating like a little deeper sensation for yourself so that you can keep yourself in your body in the moment, without thinking about all the other things. Grab a block, and we're actually going to start laying down today, which is a thing we haven't done in a minute. Maybe put the block near like the foot end of your mat. That'll probably be the first place where we'll end up needing it. And whenever you feel ready, you can just go ahead and lay back. Tuck the tailbone so you can feel the small of the back firm on the ground. Maybe shimmy the shoulder blades in toward each other so you can relax the shoulders back. And rest the hands on the belly. Maybe even take the feet wide and knock the knees together. So there's just a bit of a feeling of support here. You can feel the ground pressing up behind your back body, supporting each other. That give and take between the press of the feet and the floor. Your own hands on your belly or your body, wherever they landed. Just feel that physical reminder that here. Let's deepen the next inhale that you take, breathing all the way down into the belly. Exhaling out the mouth. Again, just like that. Filling all the way up and then exhaling out the mouth. One more. From there, you can slowly open the eyes as you bring the knees into the chest and just wrap your forearms around your knees and find a little hug here. Feel your belly now breathing into your thighs. Maybe it would feel nice to roll the head back and forth. Maybe rock the body back and forth. And then from here, we'll get right into it. Keeping the right knee bent in, take the left leg nice and long on the mat here. And you can kind of pull your knee open. So you're opening that hip from this parallel alignment here to like a nice turned out open hip. So you start to feel a little bit of a opening here along this inner thigh. You'll feel the front of your left hip and all of that fun stuff in here opening up, especially as you're reaching with that left leg. Even in the chest here, feel falling open as you breathe. If you want, you can find a little movement by circling out the ankle. Let's get that practice here of just checking in. Where is that sensation? Where does my body want to go deeper? To open up? Where do I feel really connected to right now? For the last few seconds, if you'd like to deepen this a little bit, you can reach for the inside of your foot and kick it up into like a half happy baby situation here. So the heel presses up toward the ceiling. That left leg is still reaching long. And keep it exactly where you were if this doesn't feel right for your body. We'll take one more breath here. Bringing that knee back, bringing it back into line so that you can start to play with inhaling to straighten the leg, then exhaling to bend again. And again here, we can always keep that little micro bend, still gonna get a lovely hamstring stretch. If your hamstrings are feeling really tight as you're sort of opening up underneath, you can step the left foot in, nice and flat on the mat here. And that'll give you some extra room to play with for the hamstring stretch. So again, we're going to set ourselves up and find that place to stay. You want to meet an edge here, so you should feel the waking up of the back of the leg. Up to you if you'd like to point the foot, maybe flex it if you want some deeper stretch here, but wherever you are, keep that lower back, that small of the back nice and grounded so the core is engaged. Shoulder blades pulling down. No need for any tension in the face or the jaw. You can just let that skin feel really soft as you're here. And again, as you breathe, pay attention. What's your body asking for? Maybe the exhale allows for you to bend your arms a little and pull the leg just a touch closer toward the torso. Maybe you check in with the hips, see if you're equally distributing your weight. Be really present. Almost as if we do like a little body scan with each pose. Every little bit is a choice. And then last breath coming up here, see if you can just find a little extra space. As you come out of this one, we'll just bend that leg, bringing the foot right to the knee, and then taking the left hand to the top of the knee to pull it all the way across the body for a spinal twist. You can reach the right arm out long, maybe even look toward the right hand. Relaxing in here. If you'd like to deepen this one, you can just gently tuck your right foot underneath your left knee. Feeling that same broadness in the shoulders, open chest, lots of length in the neck. Maybe even close the eyes. See if on your next exhale you can let something go. Settle in. As we begin to come out of this and roll back to center, we're going to move into a figure four. So if you tuck the foot, you can just keep it right where it is. Step the left foot to the ground, and then reaching through to thread around the back of the left thigh. From here, you've got a few options, so you can make sure the feet are nice and bright to protect the knees. And you can also use that little opposition of the right elbow pressing into the right thigh to open up the hip more. But you can choose to stay right here where you are. Maybe you want to see what it feels like to flex that bottom leg. Maybe if you feel like you might get a bit more leverage, reaching around to the shin and pulling back, give that a try. But whatever you find, go ahead and settle into some stillness here. If you do have the urge to rock or to fidget in your body, notice it. Think about why you're feeling that urge. Is it because that's what we usually do when we sort of come into this position? Is it a feeling that you're kind of constricted and maybe could use a little more play? Release. Get a little curious about your feelings here. Maybe you allow the exhale to settle in a little deeper. And then we'll find that final breath. Deep inhale all the way into the belly. And exhale out long. Coming out of this gently, we'll sort of bring both heels together here and just take a moment to check in before we switch to the other side with the knees wide, chest open. And then whenever you are ready, you can take that right leg long. It should feel really nice to have it all stretched out, and then pull the left leg in parallel at first, and then you can find that little open rotation of the hip here. Making sure to keep that lower back down on the mat. The left leg is really like tucked up in here, maybe even pointing or flexing with the foot so you can get a full activation. And then the same thing with the right leg, really weighting it down to the mat to open up in the hip. Check in with the shoulders, making sure they're not creeping up too close to the ears. Maybe swallowing to relax the throat. And breathing into it. You can take those little ankle rolls if you'd like. And then if you do want to go a little deeper in this hip, reach for the inside of your foot and bring it up into that half happy baby. Breathing into the tension. One more big breath. Exhale out. And we'll start to transition as you bend the leg and bring it back into center. And then you can kind of work your way into those inhales to straighten and exhales to bend as we find a little hamstring opening here. If you'd like it, you do still have that option to bring the left leg in or the right leg in with the foot stepped onto the mat flat. And then start to make your decision about where you'd like to stay. Keeping that nice parallel alignment with the legs, so both hips are still pointing straight forward if you were standing. The torso hasn't changed at all. It's just the leg. Maybe a little bend of the elbows allows for a deeper stretch. Maybe not. Give your body what it needs right now. Keep breathing through it. Reaching long with the right leg on the mat. And bring in that final inhale, nice and big. Exhaling out. As we start to bend, bringing the foot to the knee and then gently falling over into our twist. Maybe you want to take the left arm out long, looking toward the left palm to add in the cervical spine. And just breathe here. If you want a little extra, you can tuck the right foot underneath your left foot underneath your right knee. Wow. Today is not a good directional day for me. And that is what that is. There's some spot where you can just let go a little bit. Maybe it's that hand on top of the knee. You need to grip, you can give the fingers a little wiggle. Feeling the length of your body right now. Gently begin to make your way back, keeping that foot tucked as we come into our figure four. Spreading underneath, feet are bright, whether they're flexed or pointed. Play a little bit as you're setting up, what really feels best for you today in terms of where the hands go, where the legs go. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as the other side. You have to serve this side. And once you're there, settle in, anchoring the tailbone, the lower back, the shoulder blades drawing down. Maybe even letting the eyes close. I feel like on these slow practices, I always close my eyes when I settle in. It's just removing one extra layer of stimulus for potential distraction. Breathing into the hip or any other areas that are tension filled here. we'll take that last deep breath, inhaling into the belly and exhaling out. From here, we're just going to rock on up to sit, bringing the feet to the mat and starting to walk the hands out behind you. So you can do this and kind of feel what it feels like to let the chest collapse. What we want to be able to find is this nice lifted chest here. So you're starting to open up in the shoulders, the heart, the front body, maybe even in the biceps here if you are that deep into it. A little lift of the chin. Just kind of feeling this feeling of not allowing yourself to collapse and staying lifted. We'll need that later. And then from here, we'll take the right leg straight. Nope, left leg straight. And then the right leg will bend. You can kind of lift up and tuck it for our quad stretch. So the two modes, as we have done before, lifting up to find that right glute engaged and really opening up here. Or if you want something a little more relaxed, but no less challenging, we can lay it all the way back. Either way, you do want to feel that tug. So maybe you get it by pressing the top of the foot into the mat. Again, lifting the glute. It's just that little feeling that it's turned on. Yes, stretch. It's not pain, it's just sensation. Feel like a lot of things are just sensation until we add in the thinking brain, right? Like we don't necessarily know that a faster heartbeat means that we might be afraid or nervous for something, but you need that context, that time to sit with it and ask and get curious to sort of decipher what it is that your body needs from you. And we'll take one more breath here. Making your way back up and switching sides. If you do, just walk it back. Try to find that lift still in the chest as you open up, or you can take it all the way down. Maybe pressing with the top of the foot in. I feel like if your knee tends to hurt at all doing this, try the pressing down with the top of the foot, and if it still hurts, come on back up. If you took it all the way down. Checking in again with the skin of the face, especially between the eyebrows and the jaw. Let it all be nice and loose. Looking into that sensation. And we'll take our final deep breath. Inhaling. Exhaling to settle in. And start to make your way back up. Both legs will now come straight out in front, so we can sort of head the opposite way. And you can keep that little micro bend, especially as we walk ourselves out. You can just take the fingertips out towards the toes, reaching long with the spine, and then you can let it round. So almost like your cat spine here can be nice and rounded with the chin tucked, maybe grabbing for the feet or the ankles, or even just keeping the hands relaxed beside you. But as we hang out here, you can sort of play with straightening the legs all the way out. And if they stay bent, totally okay as well. Your nose is pointing down toward your knees. Top of head, really reaching toward the toes to lengthen the spine. again, you can use the bend of those elbows wherever your hands are grabbed onto to deepen. Keep breathing. Again, with all the bits of the body that are talking to you. If you want more here, you can always add a deeper flex to the feet. And then taking that really deep inhale and exhale out. Rolling yourself back up. And here we will bring the soles together once more, taking the knees wide, kind of walking yourself in so that you can really open the legs as much as you possibly can here. Finding a long spine, and this is where we'll stay unless it is super comfortable for you to bend it over. Your option. What you want to feel here is the sensation in the inner thighs and a nice long spine, maybe even a stretch in the arms and this pull down of the shoulders coming from having tucked underneath your toes. You're breathing, trying to find that lift in the chest. Deep breath in and exhale. From here, we'll cross the legs and come on up over to all fours. And let's go ahead and take just a little wrist stretch. So rotate your right hand so that the fingertips are pointing back towards the knee. If this is enough for you, great, stay here. If not, you can find little circles. One direction and then the other. Opening up. And go ahead and shake it out. Switch sides. Maybe just staying here, maybe finding those little rotations. Getting into a bit of the upper body as we come up here. So, before we do that, let's just take like 2 or 3 rounds of cat-cow, finding your flow on that. We haven't really gotten much time to sort of move with the breath or explore. So get a little bit of that going before we move on. Still feeling that connection, that support rooting up from your palms, your fingers, the tops of your feet, your knees. And then from here, we'll take the toes together, the knees wide, and planting the hands really, really firm here as you press yourself back to child's pose. Allow the elbows to stay lifted and give you a little extra shoulder stretch as you're here. Keeping the arms really long so that you feel length in the side body. Maybe rocking the head from side to side as you settle in. That deep breath, inhaling all the way down as deep as you can. And exhale out. We will walk ourselves back up here, bring the knees together, and then tuck the toes underneath to just take a little sip here on top of the feet to open up the bottom of the feet. So if this is still a lot, you can kind of shift your weight back forward and find a happy medium here, but if not, you can find some neck rolls. Well, either way, you can find some neck rolls, but I do want you to not use the neck rolls to not feel what's happening on the underside of the feet here. We are here to pay attention. Last breath in, and exhale out. From here, we're going to lift up into a forward fold, just so that we can transition out to a nice long down dog. So we are here. You can pedal out the feet at first. I'm not going to make you be super still in this first down dog. We're just using it to get into our little lunge series. So maybe you find a breath or two of stillness. Fingers wide, you can feel the opening sensation in the webs between your fingers. Shoulders engaged and pulling down away from the ears. Tailbone lifting up, heels pressing back down toward the mat. One deep inhale. And exhale out the mouth. Your next inhale will lift the right leg and step it all the way forward between the hands. We'll drop the back knee here. And whenever you're feeling stable, you can go ahead and walk yourself up, interlacing the fingers and pressing them down into the top of your right thigh. This is where you can stay here for the next 30 seconds or so. If you want a little bit more opening in the chest, you can interlace instead behind and scrub the knuckles down the back thigh. So knuckles are either interlaced on the front thigh or the back thigh. Wherever you are, you're still feeling a zip up of the inner thigh. So it's kind of like not allowing yourself to collapse in, especially if you're super flexible. You want to feel that support, that press of the ground back up into your body as you press down. Lifting in the chest. Checking in. And continuing to breathe. Deep breath coming, so take that inhale. Exhale out. And let go of the interlace as you come back down to the mat and shift the hips back to find a hamstring stretch. So as you're here, you can stay exactly as is. If you want a little more in this IT band, the outer side, you can choose to curl yourself into a cat spine, tucking the chin, lifting up from the belly button and the ribs and the chest, everything pulling up toward the ceiling, and that will wake you up a little bit along the back of the leg, the hip there. Breathing through the sensation, flexing in the front foot. Last breath. As you come on forward, go ahead and toe heel the foot out just a little bit toward the edge of the mat. Plant your left hand on the edge of the mat as well. Inhale, open into a twist, and then keep that twist opening back to bend back leg up for a nice open quad stretch here. If you feel a little constricted, maybe take the left hand out even further, opening up more space for that Proud chest, not letting it collapse. And then as you're here, this is one of like the most uncomfortable things for a lot of people. And sometimes that's because you're a little too on top of your knee and your hips haven't really made it all the way into the pose, and like that's a different kind of discomfort. We don't want that. We don't want you to like hurt yourself. So please, by all means, if that feels like what this is for you every time, find maybe just this really strong lifted twist pose. So you've got the upper body going on. But if this is uncomfortable because it's a stretch, lean into that. See if you can meet that edge with curiosity, with like a little bit of joy, pre-joy, as my partner would call it. And then take your final inhale here. Exhale out long. And gently let it go without sort of springboarding back. We are going to come down into a lifted pose with this nice open hip that we have now. So this is your potential point to bring in a block, where you will walk down the elbows. See how it feels there. Maybe take it all the way down to the mat. Still keeping that feeling of the tailbone and the top of the head in opposition. Really long spine. Breathing. Seeing if you can brighten in the feet even here. So when you're feeling that energy coming all the way up the leg, pressing into the back leg, you are supported. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We'll take one more breath. Working yourself back up. Tucking that back toe. This time we'll step back to down dog and kind of hang out there for a minute. You can shake the hips out. If you're really feeling like you need a little bit more of a rest in between here, you can always drop back down to your child's pose. But pick one of those and we'll hang out for a few little cycles of breath. Wherever you are, staying awake to the body. From tips of fingers to toes. Being super aware of every little bit. If you did take it down to child's pose, coming back up to down dog. And you will inhale to lift the left leg and step it forward. Finding that low lunge just like we had before. When you're feeling grounded, walking those hands up to the left thigh. Finding that lift, engaging the inner thighs, pulling together. You should feel that nice, lovely quad stretch even here. And again, if you'd like, you can interlace the fingers behind, taking the opposite thumb on top than you usually use, and lifting the chest. I will say, if you do the opposite thumb thing enough, it's like easy, it's very easy to forget which one you just used because they both feel kind of normal. So if that's where you're at, great, me too. You'll find that lift. Opening, driving down. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Bringing the hands gently back to the mat as you shift the hips back. And maybe you stay right here. Maybe you find that cat spine. Ooh, sensation. Tucking the chin, really caving in here. Using the fingertips really strong on the mat and firm so you can get that real big lift. Breathe through it. One more deep breath. Let's start to transition back forward as we come into this beautiful open twist. Maybe widen your front stance, walking the right hand and left foot toward the edges of the mat as you begin to bend the back heel toward the butt cheeks and come into your quad stretch. Again, feeling those shoulder blades pulling down and back. Proud, proud chest. Maybe even turning up the corners of the mouth here as you breathe. Deep breath in. Exhale out. And gently transition. We're coming into that lizard pose now on the left side. So you're turning the left foot out at the 45-degree angle. Maybe walking down onto your block or pillow. Feeling like you can maintain that length in the spine here. I'm rounding a little bit, but because of how close I put my block. So if that feels good, at that point you can walk it down to the mat. Or maybe not. Wherever you are, breathe into that hip as much as you can. Try and maintain the focus on the body. Deep breath in. Exhale out. And then we'll bring that up. I'm taking way too long. I'm going to go over by like a minute. I'm very sorry, but we're ending with pigeon pose because now you have set yourself up in all of the different ways that you need to be very open for pigeon pose. So we can't not do it. From here, you're going to toe heel your left foot over to the opposite side of the mat to settle back down. You can absolutely tuck your block underneath the hip if you'd like a little extra support here, but like I said, this whole practice we've been working on all the things you need for comfort and joy in pigeon pose, and this is probably the deepest pigeon pose I've ever been in. So take a deep inhale here with the long spine before you go ahead and walk yourself down. And maybe if you're not using the block for support, you can use it for your forehead here in front as you just breathe. Right in the feet, relax in the shoulders. One more deep breath. Exhale it out. Go ahead and walk yourself up. You can sit onto one side, kind of windshield wiper the hips a little here. You should drink lots of water after this, by the way. And then we will shift over this way. so that we can do the left side in front. This is the right side in front. My goodness. I feel like I'm looking in a mirror. So take that supported block if you'd like it. Otherwise, go ahead and just settle down. Lift your chest for the inhale. And exhale to walk it forward. Maybe you want that block as support for your forehead. Keep the spine long. And of course, if you're feeling super good here, there is nothing stopping you from just hanging out in pigeon pose forever after I shut the Zoom down. It's so nice to kind of take a moment to play when your body is warm, and especially when you've spent 40 some minutes paying attention to sensation and to what's going on in the body, because I feel like that attention and activation is when you're sort of least likely to injure yourself. So it's not like you're exploring to make anything look a certain way, but you're just exploring what it all feels like and where your edges are and how it feels to meet them. And so we'll take that one final inhale here. Deep exhale out. Gently walking yourself back up. And we'll sit onto the right hip. And once again, find that windshield wiper. Just tuck into a little comfy seat here for a final moment to just let everything absorb at the end of today. Thank you for letting me go over. Sorry about that. And then however you would like to acknowledge your work that you just put in and the time that you just took, whatever comes up naturally in your head, in your face, in your body, just allow a moment to sit with that. And think about how you might turn that energy outward. Take one deep breath together. Exhale out the mouth. Allow the eyes to open. And we did it. We scratched. Hope you are feeling as open and aware as I am. So, yeah. Thanks, y'all. Very graceful little transition back up from the floor. I'm also very sweaty, but that's summer, I guess. So yeah, see ya next week. And I think we're gonna do like a very intensive chest and shoulder and neck session. So all of this fun stuff with a little bit of self-massage and that sort of thing. So thank you both. You are lovely human beings, and I miss ya.
I miss you, Michelle. Thank